Let's have a look inside Hot Rod and Custom UK from September 1978. Now, I remember the street machines and custom cars from around this time, but this is not one I remember seeing in the 70s. Back when I was interested in these magazines and picked up some of the other ones, some of the ones in my collection at the moment, I had at the time. This is a completely new magazine to me. I only have one of these in my collection. I think this is issue 4. I don't know how many more it ran for. I know nothing else about the magazine. So let's just dive in and have a look. Starting with the editor's page, big long chunk of text there. Yeah, with this issue being the 4th we have published, we are beginning to get some feedback. And here's some of that feedback in the mailbox. A few pages of adverts and new released stuff. New released at the time, obviously. And then a feature on the Dry Lakes racing scene at the time with some cool contemporary vehicles, all of which are prime fodder for future builds. Just an advert that caught my eye. Hot Rod van, bits and pieces. I swear some of these were actually models. And over the page, nice long article on fuel injection. I'm not going to pretend I've read this yet, or that I would be interested or would understand the small details, but gives you some idea of the cabling you might need to do on such a vehicle. And here's the first feature car, 1955 Chevy. American car in Britain. Another of the how-to features that were so common in these British custom mags, brazing in this case. And this isn't the centerfold, but it's a rather nice 2-page colour spread of drag racing, including Ford Capri funny car, which is, I really would like to make a model of that one. That would be cool. And here's something that'll ring a bell. SEMA. There's an article about Specialty Equipment Manufacturers Association and what they do, and some of their, I don't know when they started doing them. Oh no, here we go. The first show was at the Los Angeles Dodger Stadium in 1967. So this is about their show in 77 and what the association does. And if you follow car YouTube, you'll have seen videos from SEMA and the way it's escalated into something incredibly huge and some of the wilder builds that are made for it. Another feature car, 1935 Hillman, very attractive, classic style hot rod, the Ford V6, which is a fairly classic British engine to put in a hot rod. Bet you can't get a model of this. I bet it's impossible to build anything that looks like this. Which is a shame, because look at it. Ah, that's awesome. Another of the how-to articles. This is their Project Car Ford Pop. And this issue, I believe they're looking at the chassis. And here's a good one for the modelers. It's a pictorial of Ford Model Ts and a bunch of different versions, different ones, to give you inspiration. Inspiration in this case, obviously, to build a full-size car. Inspiration in my case, to build a model. I did ET, which is a 32nd scale Model T, but I've got somewhere a 25th scale T-Rod that may deserve a little bit of playing with. And that's I do like the look of the track roadsters. I quite like the look of this one as well. This super low one, which was again inspired by a racer. Now must have been inspired by a dragster. And here's a whole page of more of them, including the rather strange looking tall T coupes. Here we have roundups of various club meets and shows around the country. Another thing that I don't know whether I'll be able to get is a Ford Escort van. That would be really cool. And I keep saying it, for so many of these, I don't know where I get a model of a Vauxhall Viva. Don't know if I'd do this to it, but if I wanted to make a custom Vauxhall Viva, I don't know where to start. I'm sure somewhere out there's a 3D printed version, or 3D printable version, preferably, given I've got a printer. And something a bit, I don't know, probably not left field really, but an article explaining the difference between different types of nuts and bolts and standards for them all. Or your types of bolt head. This one I might read, because this looks like it could be fascinating. I don't know whether you get this sort of thing in a modern magazine. I think they'd probably presume you could go online and read it for yourself. And another explainer, drag racing. Breaking down basic, the organisations, the basic details of what it is, and the various different classes at the time. Presumably they've changed since then. And another one that's going to provide a lot of inspiration. This is one of their suggestion articles with the drawings of what ifs and possible builds. Now, you can get the Datsuns and the Toyotas. Because of the whole mini truck craze, they were quite popular. You can get Morris Minor estates and saloons and vans. I don't know if you can get pickups. The Austin, haven't a clue. The Morris Marina, I'm one of those weirdos who wants Airfix to bring the Morris Marina kit that they made back. But it wasn't a pickup, and it wasn't a van, so don't know about that. And Devon pickups, yeah, you'd be looking at resin or 3D print, and also same with this BMC here. But that I like. There are some more van models out there nowadays. In the last few months, since I first said you don't get very many van models, I've noticed that there are quite a few more being released. So, don't know if this is a possibility, but if I want to build a van, I have more options. And over the page, awesome pictures of cars wasting away. Gotta love scrapyard pictures. And being over 40 years old, this magazine is looking at cars that were 20, 30, 40 years old when it was published. So you got the 50s and occasional 30s vehicles. And now we're at the end here. We've got all the ads, all the cool old stuff at stupid prices. And an advert on the back cover that I'm going to cover up just because. So, that was Hot Rod and Custom UK, issue 4. I hope I find some more issues of this. I'm not going out and specifically hunting new magazines at the moment, but if I come across them in car boot sales and charity shops and places like that, I'll pick up interesting magazines like this and Street Machine and all of that. And they go on the pile, and eventually I have a look inside for you and share them. So that's this week's, and there'll be more to come soon.